All right, it's time to go over deadlifting, which is one of the most basic barbell movements. Anytime you're picking something off the ground, we are essentially deadlifting it. In this case, we are using a barbell today. What's great about lifting with barbells is that you can create any combination of plates to match the weight that you want to work with. With dumbbells and kettlebells, the weights are fixed, so you're limited to what the weight of the dumbbell or kettlebell actually is. With the barbell, all you need is a bar and a bunch of bumper plates so that you can create any combination of weights that you want to work with. So the main thing to remember with deadlift is how to make sure that we are keeping our spine neutral in this position. And we are not allowing our back to overly round or to lose that bracing and that core tightness. When done properly, the deadlift should effectively target the glutes and hamstrings and utilize your lower body in order to push the weight off the ground. Now note the key word I said there was pushing the weight off the ground and not pulling the weight off the ground. And while the deadlift is a pulling motion, I want you to think of the deadlift as pushing the ground away with your feet in order to lift the bar. Before I have someone picking up the bar off the ground, I like to give this drill in order to make sure that you understand what hinging is like. You're going to place your hands on top of your thighs. You're going to start with a slight bend in your knees so your knees are not locked out. And you're gonna push your butt back as you slide your hands down to cup your knees. And then I want you to squeeze your butt in order to stand up. So think about pushing your butt back like there's a door behind you that's open and you're trying to close the door with your hips. Your arms are gonna stay straight down the entire time. So arms are gonna stay straight, meaning your wrists are right below the shoulders so that you create this triangle of space between your arms and your hips. Now, one additional thing we're going to add to this drill is thinking about pushing back and engaging the muscles of our lats, the muscles under our armpits. And the way we're going to do that is you're going to squeeze your shoulder blades back. So you're going to have your palms down. I want you to push back like you're trying to bend one of those PVC pipe sticks around your thighs. So you're going to push back, and I want you to drive your shoulders down and take your shoulder blades and stick them in pockets behind you. So shoulders are going to go back and down, and you're going to hold that squeeze the entire time. Another way to think about it too is imagine making orange juice under your armpits. Imagine sticking an orange under your armpits and then squeezing it so tight that it makes orange juice. You're going to try to hold this the entire time. As you have your palms against your thighs, you're going to stick your butt back, slide the hands to cup the knees, and then stand up. Now let's do this drill, but moving down a little bit further. So instead of stopping at the knees, once you get to the knees, you can bend your knees just a hair and then allow your hands to go in front of your shins. This is how we are going to approach the deadlift, by squeezing back and down with our arms, and that's going to keep the bar hugged in tight close to us so the bar doesn't get away from us, and keeping that constant tension pushing backwards as we lower the bar down and as we stand up. Okay, so let's talk about setting up and addressing the bar. So the lift starts from a great setup position. As you address the bar, you're going to step your feet up to the bar close enough so that the bar covers the knot of your shoelace when you look straight down. If we imagine a line that bisects our foot in half, which is actually the barbell, then the bar should be that line that cuts our foot in half. And the middle of our foot will be about where the bow of your shoelace is. Now at this point, your shins aren't quite touching the bar yet, which is fine. You're gonna have a little bit of space there because as we actually lean down and address the bar and bend the knees, then your shins are gonna come in contact with the bar. So standing tall, we're gonna start by squeezing our shoulders back and down, just like we did with that orange juice squeezing drill earlier. Shoulders back and down. You're gonna push your butt back as you slide your hands down towards the bar. And then you're going to bend your knees just a little bit so your legs are not too stiff. You want to have just the slightest knee bend, grabbing the bar next to your legs. Now remember, the hands are not traveling on top of the legs, they're going to travel next to the legs. So if you stick your thumbs out, that's the distance that your grip should be from your legs. Now when we actually grab the bar, you're going to wrap your thumbs around, but sticking your thumbs out is going to give you a good width for your grip when you come down and address the bar. Shoulders back and down, butt goes back, grab the bar. And at this point, the shoulders should be just barely in front of the wrists. You don't want it too far forward where your butt is too high. What you want from a side view is that your shoulders are just a little bit above your hips and your hips are just a little bit above your knees. So you're creating a triangle through your setup. You want to make sure that your hips are not too high in the setup, which is a lot of stress on your hamstrings because your legs are too straight. And you also want to make sure that your hips are not too low because then the tops of your legs or quads are going to be working way too much. And you're going to feel too much work in the front of your legs and not enough through the backside. So once you grab the bar, you want to create a bit more tension here. So if you have those shoulders back and down and you hold that squeeze, then you're going to feel that you are creating tension upward against the bar. And with most barbells that have a collar that spins, you're gonna hear a little bit of a clicking sound as you start to pull up on the bar. And you want to remove that clicking sensation before you start to pick the bar off the ground, because then you know that you've created tension. We're not yanking the bar off the ground, but we're creating tension and we're digging and we're creating a squeeze of the bar as we push our feet against the ground. So let's remove that clicking sensation by bringing our shoulders back and down. As we tighten our back, we're gonna brace. So ribs are gonna go slightly down, keeping our back flat. And we're gonna breathe in, pushing air out on all sides. We're gonna drive our feet against the floor. So again, push the floor away with your feet, ball of foot and heel together as you squeeze your butt and push your hips into the bar. Now as you lower down, we're gonna do that top down drill that we did with our butt going back. We're gonna push the bar against the legs, create that squeeze like you're creating orange juice out of the oranges by pushing back and down as you slide the bar against your legs and lower the bar down to the ground. Some things that you want to look out for here. You want to feel the steel. You want the bar to keep in constant contact with your legs on the way down and on the way up through the entirety of the lift. When the weight gets further away from us, our back has to do a lot more work to hold the weight. When we can brace and press the weight against our legs as we are lowering and standing up the bar, then our lower body is supporting the weight like a shelf. The more that you can keep the bar over the middle of your foot and against your body and against your center of gravity, then the more that you're going to be able to lift, and also less stress goes into your lower back throughout the duration of that lift. So when you're addressing the bar and you bend your knees forward into the bar, that bar should be touching your shins to start. When you stand up with that bar, you're going to keep that bar grazing against your shins like it's a razor cutting off the hairs on your leg. Now you're not going to scrape the bar against your leg, but you are going to keep it fairly close. In terms of gaze, you're going to look at the floor about 6 to 8 feet in front of you in order to keep the spine neutral. What we don't want to do is look down at our feet or look up too high at the wall in front of us. We're trying to keep our spine neutral through the duration of that hinging motion. So let's try a couple more reps here. You're gonna grab the bar, you're gonna bring your shoulders back and down, squeeze. You're gonna think about pushing the floor away with your feet in order to lift the bar off the ground. So push the floor away, slide the bar against your legs, squeeze your butts and push your hips into the bar as you press the bar in against your thighs. You want to think of a strong finish. Hips go into the bar, pushing the bar against your legs. Shoulders should be behind the bar at this point to finish the lift. In the next video, we're going to talk about the most common faults that we might see with the deadlift and how to work on fixing those.